The awakening. The night sky over New Shanghai wasn't Earth's anymore. It hadn't been for 8 years. The pulsing violet glow of Virixi watchtowers cut through the perpetual haze, their security drones buzzing like mechanical insects against the backdrop of alien warships. Dr. Maya Chen watched from her laboratory window, 3 levels beneath what remained of the university campus. Her fingers absently traced the scar that ran from her temple to her jaw, a reminder of the day the Virixi Dominion had arrived. Status report on Project Phoenix, she murmured into her wrist communicator, eyes never leaving the alien patrol patterns. 8 years of observation had taught her their routines down to the second. Power fluctuations stabilizing at 70%, replied the hushed voice of her assistant, Lin. But we're still getting those strange harmonic resonances whenever we initiate the sequence. Maya's brow furrowed. The resonances are the key. Don't try to dampen them. Amplify them. I'll be down in 10. She pulled away from the window and glanced at the tattered photograph pinned beside her workstation, her parents standing proudly before their quantum physics lab, just days before the invasion rendered their decades of research strategically irrelevant to the Virixi. The aliens hadn't come for conquest in the traditional sense. Earth was simply a convenient outpost, its population a deployable resource, its mineral wealth extraction ready. The elevator to sublevel 5 was technically defunct, or so the occupation authorities believed. Maya placed her palm against the hidden scanner, feeling the familiar tingle as it read not just her fingerprints, but the unique electrical patterns of her nervous system, human technology that the Virixi, for all their advancement, had overlooked. The doors closed, and Maya descended into humanity's last, best hope. Project Phoenix occupied an enormous chamber that had once housed the university's particle accelerator. Now it contained something far more significant, a latticework of crystalline structures that pulsed with a soft blue light, seemingly responding to the presence of humans in the room. 20 resistance members worked at various stations, their faces illuminated by holographic displays. Dr. Chen. Lin called, motioning her over to the central console. We isolated the harmonic pattern. It matches human brainwave frequencies. Specifically, it synchronizes with our gamma waves during problem solving. Maya's heart rate quickened. Show me the correlation. The display shifted to reveal overlapping waveforms, the system's energy fluctuations perfectly mirroring human neural patterns. This isn't just a weapon, Maya whispered, realization dawning. It's a symbiosis. The ancients built this to work with us, not for us. The discovery was both exhilarating and terrifying. The crystalline network, unearthed from sites across the globe after decoded clues from prehistoric cave paintings, wasn't alien technology as they'd first theorized. It was human technology, created by a forgotten civilization that had faced its own existential threat millennia ago. A sudden alarm cut through her thoughts. Lin's expression shifted to panic as he checked the security feed. Raid in Sector 7. They're getting closer to our supply route. Maya straightened. Show me. The feed revealed a squad of Virixi enforcers, led by Commander Kroloff himself. His imposing figure towered over the human prisoners being rounded up. The commander's exoskeleton gleamed under the artificial lights, the multiple arms of his battle harness efficiently processing captives. Another insurgent cell discovered. Kroloff's translated voice emanated from the feed. The penalty remains the same: neural extraction for the participants, labor reassignment for their families. Maya clenched her fists. Neural extraction. The Virixi's euphemism for the process that left humans as empty shells, their cognitive functions harvested to power alien computing systems. We're accelerating the timeline, she decided. Contact Davos. Tell him we're initiating Protocol Lazarus. 3 hours later, former Earth Defense Captain Davos Reed stood before the crystalline array, his weathered face a mixture of awe and skepticism. You're telling me this thing has been under our feet the entire time, and the Virixi haven't detected it? Maya nodded. The network extends globally through quantum-entangled nodes. It doesn't emit conventional energy signatures. It's practically invisible to their scanners because it operates on principles they don't understand. Davos ran a hand through his salt and pepper hair. And you need me because you were special forces, because your neural patterns show unique compatibility with the system, and because you've led successful strikes against the Virixi before. The captain's eyes narrowed. Those weren't victories, Doctor. They were survival, at best. This will be different, Maya insisted, guiding him toward the central interface chamber. The system doesn't just respond to us. It enhances us. But it needs to be activated simultaneously at 7 key locations around the world. Inside the chamber, a nest of crystalline filaments suspended a single hovering chair. Davos eyed it warily. What exactly happens when I sit there? Maya hesitated. Theoretically, your consciousness extends into the system. You become both yourself and something more, connected to every node in the network, able to control its defensive capabilities. Theoretically, Davos repeated dryly. We've tested components, Maya assured him. Lynn and I have both interfaced partially, but a full connection. We need someone whose mind can handle the strain. Davos studied her face. You're not telling me everything. Maya looked away. The system, it shows you things. Memories, not just yours. It's like the collective experience of humanity flows through you. It's overwhelming, but also beautiful. Lynn interjected quietly. Even from the partial connection, it was like touching the soul of our species. Davos considered this, then abruptly sat in the chair. Let's get on with it then. Krolof's goons are tightening their grip by the day. The activation sequence began, filaments extending to make contact with Davos's skin. His pupils dilated as the initial connection formed, body tensing then relaxing as the interface deepened. Heart rate elevated but stable, Lynn reported. Neural activity spiking across all bands. Maya watched anxiously as Davos's expression shifted through confusion, pain, and wonder. Minutes stretched into an hour before his eyes refocused, finding hers immediately. I know how to defeat them, he said, voice resonating with newfound certainty. And we need to move fast. The next 48 hours were a blur of activity. Resistance cells worldwide received encrypted instructions. Ancient nodes were activated in remote locations from the Siberian tundra to the Amazon basin, each requiring a human operator with specific neural compatibility. Maya coordinated from New Shanghai, watching as the global network gradually illuminated on their tracking system. Each new connection strengthened the whole, creating a defense grid unlike anything Earth had possessed during the initial invasion. On the eve of activation, Maya found Davos standing before the laboratory window, watching the alien patrols. When I was connected, he said without turning, I saw them, our ancestors. They faced something worse than the Virixi, something that consumed entire worlds. They built this system as a last resort, imprinted it with their knowledge, then hid it deep where it would remain until needed. Why didn't they use it themselves? Maya asked. Davos finally faced her, eyes reflecting the violet glow from above. They did, but the price was high, the merging of consciousness with machine. They became something neither human nor artificial. They won their war, then left Earth to the next evolution of humanity. Us. Maya absorbed this. And that's what will happen to our operators. No, Davos shook his head. They improved the system. We can disconnect, if we choose to. The implication hung between them as their communicators simultaneously chimed. The final node was online. The global resistance awaited their signal. It's time, Maya said softly. Davos nodded. Humanity has been sleeping long enough. Let's wake the world. As dawn broke over New Shanghai, the resistance prepared to strike back against those who had thought Earth an easy conquest. They were about to learn why that was humanity's most dangerous mistake. The reckoning. The Virixi had conquered Earth through overwhelming technological superiority, a fleet of warships that had darkened the skies, weapons that had reduced military bases to ash, and neural suppressors that had pacified entire cities. They had not, however, prepared for what had awakened beneath their feet. At exactly 700 hours Global Standard Time, Maya initiated the Phoenix Protocol from her underground laboratory. Across the planet, 7 specially selected humans fully connected to the ancient defense network. The effect was immediate and catastrophic for the invaders. In New Shanghai, Maya watched through surveillance drones as the crystalline energy surged through long dormant conduits beneath the city streets. The Virixi watchtowers, which had loomed over humanity for 8 years, suddenly flickered as their power systems were hijacked and redirected. "Status report," she demanded, fingers flying across the control interface. Lin's voice came through, tense but controlled. "Node 1 in the Ural Mountains is fully operational. Davos has successfully linked with the European grid and is disrupting Virixi communications across 3 sectors." Maya nodded grimly. The plan was working. Disconnect the invaders' command structure, destabilize their technology, then strike with everything the resistance had salvaged and hidden over the years. Outside, the first phase of the ground assault began. Resistance fighters, their neural patterns now shielded by the ancient technology, emerged from hiding places throughout the city. They moved with purpose toward the Virixi Command Center, a massive structure that had once been the planetary science headquarters. Through her neural link to the system, Maya could sense Davos leading the European offensive. His consciousness brushed against hers in the network, a reassuring presence amidst the chaos of battle. "Maya," his voice resonated directly in her mind. "Kraloth has called for reinforcements. Orbital strike incoming. Redirect the Australian node to strengthen our shields." She complied immediately, feeling the network adjust as she redirected energy flows. The sensation was still disorienting. Perceiving the world both through her physical senses and through the vast awareness of the interconnected system. The laboratory shuddered as the first retaliatory strikes hit the city. The Virixi were responding with increasing desperation, their carefully maintained control disintegrating by the minute. "Dr. Chen," Lin shouted over the rumbling. "We've got a problem. Node 3 in the Amazon is fluctuating. Their operator is losing coherence under the neural load." Maya closed her eyes, extending her consciousness through the network to the struggling operator. A young woman named Isabella, whose unique brainwave patterns had made her ideal for the connection. She could feel Isabella's pain and fear as the system threatened to overwhelm her. "I'm with you," Maya projected through their shared link. "Breathe with me. Find your center in the flow." Gradually, Isabella stabilized, her consciousness realigning with the network. The South American defenses solidified just as Virixi dropships attempted to neutralize the node. Hours passed in a blur of strategic adjustments and desperate holding actions. The resistance had the advantage of surprise and the ancient technology, but the Virixi still controlled the skies and had superior numbers. For every alien outpost liberated, another sector faced intensified orbital bombardment. "They're adapting to our tactics," Davos warned as the battle entered its 6th hour. "Kraloth has figured out we're using the planet itself against them." Maya had expected this. The Virixi commander hadn't risen to his position through stupidity. Reports were coming in of Virixi engineers attempting to drill into the subterranean network at key junctures. "Activate the second phase protocols," she instructed the global operators. "It's time to show them what humanity is truly capable of." The ancient system had remained dormant for millennia, but its creators had built in evolutionary algorithms that continued to develop even in sleep. As Maya triggered the deeper functionality, the crystalline structures throughout the network began to pulse with increased luminosity. "What's happening?" Lin asked, staring at the readings. "The system is drawing power directly from Earth's magnetic field." Maya nodded. "The ultimate renewable energy source, and one the Virixi can't disrupt without endangering themselves." With this new influx of power, the human operators could extend their influence further. In orbit, Virixu warships suddenly found their navigation systems compromised. On the ground, their exoskeletons, the source of their physical superiority, began to malfunction. But the tide truly turned when Maya discovered the final piece of the system's design. Deep in the neural interface, she found patterns that matched not just individual human brainwaves, but the collective unconscious of humanity itself. When she merged this template with the active network, something extraordinary happened. Across the globe, humans who had never been directly connected to the system began to feel its presence. The resistance didn't need to explain their plans anymore. People simply knew what to do. Underground caches of weapons were found instinctively. Virixi weak points were targeted with uncanny precision. It wasn't mind control. Each person maintained their individuality, but rather a profound empathic connection that united humanity in purpose. In New Shanghai, Maya felt the shift as thousands of minds joined the silent communion. The laboratory screens showed civilians rising up in synchronized resistance, moving with the coordination of a single organism while retaining individual initiative. This is what the ancients meant to create, she realized. Not just a weapon, but a unification of human consciousness. The Virixi commanders, faced with this unprecedented development, began to retreat to their orbital strongholds, all except one. Commander Kroloth, whose hatred for human infestation had defined his rule, launched a desperate assault on the New Shanghai node with his elite guard. "Maya, he's coming for you," Dagos warned through their link. "I'm redirecting forces to your position, but they won't arrive in time." She steeled herself. "I'll handle Kroloth. Focus on securing the orbital platforms." The laboratory's defenses were formidable, but Kroloth's forces breached the outer perimeter with brutal efficiency. As they fought their way downward, Maya prepared her final gambit. "Lin, evacuate all non-essential personnel," she ordered, "and initiate Protocol Omega." Lin's eyes widened. "That's untested. The system might interpret it as..." "I know what I'm doing." Maya cut him off. "Now go." As the laboratory emptied, Maya positioned herself before the central crystalline array. Through her enhanced perception, she tracked Kroloth's approach, 8 levels up and closing fast. Protocol Omega was the most dangerous aspect of the ancient system, a complete neural integration that would temporarily transfer her entire consciousness into the network itself. The ancients had used it to transcend their physical forms. Maya needed it for something more immediate. When Kroloth finally breached the laboratory doors, he found Maya standing calmly before the pulsing crystal structure. His battle harness deployed weapons that had incinerated countless humans before. "Your resistance is impressive, Dr. Chen," his translated voice crackled, "but ultimately meaningless. Even if you drive us from Earth, the Dominion spans 50 star systems. We will return with a force that will turn your world to ash." Maya smiled. "You misunderstand, Commander. We're not just reclaiming Earth." She raised her hand, and a crystalline structure responded, enveloping her in light. Her physical form remained, but her consciousness expanded exponentially through the network. "We've already begun transmitting the activation codes to every world you've conquered," she said, her voice resonating with harmonic overtones that made Kroloth's exoskeleton vibrate uncomfortably. "Did you think Earth was the only planet where the ancients left their legacy?" For the first time, alarm registered in the commander's alien features. "Impossible. We've controlled those worlds for generations." "You controlled their surfaces," Maya corrected, "but you never looked deep enough. The network was always there, waiting for the right signal, waiting for humanity to remember its purpose." Across the room, displays activated, showing real-time feeds from distant worlds. On each, structures similar to Earth's crystalline network were awakening, responding to the call sent through quantum entanglement pathways that transcended conventional space. Kroloth fired his weapons in desperation, but the energy bolts dissipated harmlessly against Maya's enhanced defenses. She felt no fear, only a profound connection to something larger than herself, the shared destiny of her species and all those who had been subjugated by the Dominion. "Your mistake wasn't just invading Earth, Commander," Maya said, advancing toward him as his weapons systems failed completely. "It was assuming that humanity was alone in the universe." 3 days later, as Earth's cities began the long process of reconstruction, Maya stood with Davos on the observation deck of a captured Virixi warship. Below them, New Shanghai was transformed, the alien watchtowers dismantled, the violet glow replaced by the warm lights of human civilization reborn. "The Dominion fleet has withdrawn from 7 systems already," Davos reported, scrolling through the ship's command console. "The liberation networks are online and functioning on 12 worlds. 3 more should activate within the week." Maya nodded, gazing at the stars visible through the view screen. And Krylov, under guard in what used to be his own detention center. "The information we're extracting from his neural patterns is enlightening. The Dominion isn't nearly as unified as they wanted us to believe." She turned from the view, her expression resolute. "Then we continue as planned. Phase 3 begins tomorrow. We take the fight to their core worlds." Davos studied her. The operators who fully integrated with the system, will they ever be able to disconnect completely? Maya touched the scar on her face thoughtfully. "They can if they choose to, but most don't want to. They've experienced something transcendent, a connection to all of humanity, past and present. It's addictive, in its way." "And you?" he asked quietly. She smiled, and for a moment, Davos could see something ancient and powerful behind her eyes, the collective wisdom of humanity looking back at him. "I am still Maya Chen," she assured him. "But I am also something more now. We all are." The Virixi thought they were subjugating a primitive species. Instead, they awakened the inheritors of a legacy that spans millennia. Together, they looked back to the stars, not as conquered territory, but as humanity's birthright. The Virixi Dominion had made a critical error in judgment when they had chosen Earth as an easy target. Now, the entire galaxy would remember their mistake. The stars themselves would bear witness to humanity's wrath, and ultimately, to their redemption.